Welcome to the Practical Dreamer. I'm your guide, Zach, and today we're talking about how to win your day by 9 a.m. and why this simple rule will change your life and have you actualizing your dreams faster than ever with more ease and vitality than ever. First and foremost, like always, we're all here to learn. We're here to pursue our dreams. We're here to actualize our dreams together. So if you stick around, I hope to give you some tactics and beliefs I've learned and found that might serve you in your journey to realizing your dreams. Whatever those may be, I hope that together we can support one another as we make our dreams a reality. So let's dive right in. So owning your day by 9 a.m. is really like the concept of paying yourself first. So that idea is before you start paying your bills, before you do all that, you're putting money aside immediately. So whether you have set up an auto savings account where, every time your paycheck goes in, 10% of whatever you make is immediately set aside and put in a savings account. You're taking this money and you're setting it aside to build a 1 month emergency fund, to build a 6 month emergency fund, to use to put aside for trips or travel, or to put aside, 10% of everything you make to invest in, the stock market, to invest in real estate, to start building other income sources and sources of revenue outside of your own hours worked. Or if you're an entrepreneur or business owner outside of your own business. So the idea is you're taking your money and you're making it first and foremost work for you before you give it away. Now, obviously, if you're an employee and work for someone, usually your taxes are automatically withdrawn. So besides that, the concept is pay yourself first, because at the end of the day, what you don't account for gets lost and gets spent, right? Like if you've ever been on a budget or not, the huge difference is without actually tracking and knowing where your money is going and where your time is going and your energy is going, then how are you supposed to know if you're being efficient with it? How are you supposed to allocate and really actualize what you want to do? So this whole concept is, putting your dream first, winning the day by 9 a.m. And the reason we say that is, typical 9 to 5 jobs. Well, what if it looked like you accomplished your biggest dreams before you even went to work? What if it looked like you got that hour of quality time with the kids before you even went to work? Because, after work, at the end of the day, you're spent, you're worn out. You've just dealt with so much stress, putting out so many fires, had so much put on you that, it's just really hard to also show up and be there for your family. Or, it's really hard to go to the gym at the end of the day when life's been completely thrown at you and you've spent the best of your mind and capacity and energy on other things. You've been reacting, right? And so this idea is do the hardest thing first. Do the thing that moves the needle the most for you. Do the things that are building towards your dream first before you start working to everyone else's agenda, right? Become the master of your own dreams before letting others take charge of your life. And so, some people may be like, well, I'm an evening person. I'm a night owl. Like that works the best for me. Well, that's great. If you're a night owl or something and you don't work a typical 9 to 5, because maybe you work remote, maybe you work your own schedule, maybe you have your own business, your best hours may be at the beginning of your day, even if that day doesn't start till noon, right? Or maybe that hours or those hours are at the end of your day. But what I would challenge you is until you track that, how do you actually know? Until I started tracking my writing and my words per hour, and I've done the same thing with my workouts, I didn't know where my most efficient output was for writing. I didn't know where I got or what time of day I had my best creative energies or when I got my best workouts. It wasn't actually in the morning, which I had been a morning workout person for almost a decade before I realized this, because I never tracked. I never thought about it. I was just like, if I get up early and then work out first thing in the morning, I feel really good. I feel like I own my day, which is completely true. But if I wanted to hit a PR that day, or if I was doing, so done CrossFit on and off for 10 years. If I wanted to do a signature workout, then I knew I wasn't going to go into the 5 a.m. class because, I had just woken up. My body was completely stiff still and tight. I was still dehydrated. I wasn't completely fueled and in the mindset and rhythm, no matter how much I stretched and warm up or how good my morning routines were, because I knew physically my best time of day was really that 9 a.m. mark or post lunch 3 to 5 p.m. But until you track that, you have no idea. And so the idea is, even if you're an evening person, that's great. But have you actually tracked when the best time to write is for you? Or to actualize your dream? Is it right when you wake up? Or is it in the middle of the day? Or is it at the end of the day? And so that's my challenge to you, is like, track these things and write these things down. Just make a quick note, keep track, keep a journal, keep an Excel sheet if you're into data and tracking that. There's a lot of great apps out there that will automatically do this for you, like Find, productivity trackers. And so I challenge you to look for that. And the whole idea is, for me, if I own my day by 9 a.m., by following these routines and habits and systems I put in place over the last really 10 years, then I know I can win my day by 9, and then whatever else comes at me, I'm set up for, I'm grounded, I'm ready to own. And so for me, mornings allow for more consistency than evenings, because by the evening, I've been in reaction mode a lot. I've been playing a defense a lot. Most of the day has not been my own, because I have bills to pay. I have people in my life. I have emails to answer to. I have deadlines for school and things. And so if I worked in the evenings only, that leaves a lot of life outside of my control and a lot to chance, because we all have bad days. We all have tough days. And so, I tend to work out in the evenings these days. But what does that mean? I mean, that means, it's a lot harder to show up and just will myself to go work out at the end of a really rough day or a long day when I'm worn out, didn't sleep well, blah, 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 excuses, whatever. But if you do the most important thing first, when that's your peak time, then you've set yourself up, you've already won the day. So the rest is just like this additional bonus. So the idea is, prioritize your day, prioritize your dreams before 9 a.m., before giving the best of yourself to everyone else, because giving the best of yourself to yourself first and foremost is actually going to allow you to show up better for everyone else in your life. So it's not this selfish idea. It's actually a selfless idea. And so the idea is, you're going to be more happy. You're going to be more centered. When I worked out in the mornings, I feel better. I feel like I've owned my day. I feel, vibrant. I feel alive. I feel energized. I'm ready to rock and roll. If I hit and write first thing in the morning, my wife can tell you this, I'm in such a better mood because I've done the thing I'm actually working for, that I'm passionate about, that really fulfills me and sustains me. And what really moves the needle is by doing these things first thing in the morning, whether you're a morning person or evening. And so the idea is, stop playing defense, stop waiting till the end of the day or be like, I'll get to that when, I'll do that this weekend. No, like, prioritize these things now. So get off the defensive and reactive mode and start being proactive. 86% of smartphone users spend an hour in their mornings answering text messages, looking at email, browsing social media before they even go into work. That hour over the course of a week, instead spent going to the gym, spent, preparing yourself for that presentation you really want to nail, or spent reading that book you really have been wanting to get to, but you haven't, or spending that hour, calling and connecting with loved ones, or spending that hour walking and getting in a good mindset and healthy space for the day, or spent, doing a little bit of meal prep and setting yourself up so you're not only saving money, but also investing in your personal health and having a good meal throughout your day. Investing that time wisely instead of being on the reactive side of things, because an hour over the course of a month is 30 hours, right? And so, an hour over the course of a year is 365 hours, which may not sound like a lot, but I mean, I'm looking over here at, I have this Excel chart, over the course of a year, that's 365 hours, which is pretty much, a third, an entire month of a part-time job. Like 2 months of a part-time job, really. So that's wild. And so the idea is to be more proactive instead of reactive and defensive. Before 9 a.m., be a creator, not a consumer. Before 9 a.m., be a learner, not a mindless zombie, right? Like read that nonfiction book, start that writing project you've always wanted to do, start that project at home that you've been putting off that, your spouse or partner really wants your help with and you want to do. Really look at prioritizing your goals and your dreams first before allowing the rest of the world to take charge of your time and you work on other priorities that aren't your own. So, ask this first thing in the morning, like, what are the activities I can do to take this hobby of coaching or woodworking or, writing story for this online brand of cosmetic products that I really love? How can I do that more? And we'll prioritize that first. So the idea is do the things that lead to positive results down the road first instead of doing those last at the end of the day or putting that off, forever into the future, right? Like we'll get to that when we'll start that, book, when we'll start being healthy and working out, when summer's over and it's not hot, or like, when I have time to go to the gym or when I can afford this. And no, just literally just start with whatever you can. Just make one decision and go with it. There's a million different opportunities and pathways and choices to be made between you and where you want to get to. But until you start, you're not going to get anywhere. That's just the reality of it. So actually start. And if you're like, I don't even know what I want to do, like, I don't know what my dream is, I don't know what I would work on, I don't even have hobbies outside of work, I love my job so much, like, that's amazing. Like, I love writing too. And, you still have to be like, well, if these things are important to me, if hobbies are important to me, then give yourself some capacity and time to figure out what those things look like. Look back and dedicate some time looking at your past of things that really got you excited of what your dream may be, or maybe it's figuring out, I really want to change positions within my company, but I don't have the skill set yet to change over into that new role or to change departments or to go find something else and actualize this dream. Then, well, once you kind of know that, you can start dedicating time each morning and start being more offensive and more proactive and actually putting energy towards these things and moving the needle for you first thing in the morning, instead of doing it when I have the time, when I have the energy, when I have the money. Actually prioritize and do these things first. And so, instead of allowing the distractions and everything to completely consume you, like, dedicate some time to that. So I'm going to share my screen here. I believe I'm sharing. Share. Wait. Boom. Awesome. So 2 big things that really helped me out and that really gave me some clarity around time management was, one, a simple stopwatch. So, I used to, for the longest time, I would run a stopwatch on my phone whenever I would write, and I'd always track my writing time because, I may say, and I used to have this in my calendar, I'd sit down and I'd write, you know, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. And you're like, oh, he wrote for 4 hours. And, the reality is absolutely not even close before I started tracking. And so whenever you actually run a stopwatch, or for those of you who love music, or certain ambiance, you like to work different ambiance music, or you like to listen to podcasts in the background, then I challenge you to find some ambiance or music like that with a certain time length on it, right? So like Lord of the Rings theme music, 3 hours long on YouTube, Fireplace for 8 hours. And every single time that you stop working, you hit the pause button. And with the stopwatch, I would hit a lap. So anytime I got up to go to the restroom, anytime you go to get a drink, you go to get some food, you open an email, you look at your phone, you get out of flow, you track that. And so you actually start, once you start tracking and know how much time you're actually spending on these things, then you can start figuring out, am I actually moving the needle towards my dreams? And how much time am I actually dedicating and focused time am I allowing myself to fall into the flow of things, to actually really start amping up the results that I want to get, to start really moving the needle in the direction I want to go. And so, that's what I do is I run a stopwatch and I literally track the time that I'm in my seat, focused writing. And every time I get up or do anything, I lap. So this 4 hours and 15 minutes you see was a writing session one morning, probably spent 5 hours and 15 minutes ish. Call it 5 hours of what, I would have had a 5 hour writing session. No, it was really only about 425. And if you count every single lap, like that's not that great, because for those of you that don't know, like there's this flow state that you're able to achieve once you dive into work and you submerge yourself and you go deep within that work. So Cal Newport has this great book called Deep Work. It's amazing, spectacular. Y'all should totally read it. The overall concept is the longer you do something, the more flow you fall within something. So the ease that you fall into the action, the more time you spend, submersing yourself in there, whether that's, working out, whether that's working on a presentation, writing a paper, working on a fantasy novel, the more time you spend consistently in there, the more productivity you're going to have and output you're going to have. And every time you have a distraction, however long it is, it's going to reset you back to the beginning of what is this upward curving graph of productivity. And so you're like, well, I don't really have, an hour a day. Maybe I only have a half hour. And so we look over here at this Excel sheet. And so, well, if you only have a half hour a day to work on your dream, to go to the gym, to read some nonfiction, to go on a walk, to review your week or to make some plans going forward or dedicate some time to family or something. Well, half an hour a day over the course of a week is 3.5 hours. Over the course of an entire quarter, that's 46 hours. Over the course of a year, that's 182 hours. 182 hours, which is more than a full-time job for an entire month. And so once you start tracking and these things of, I can dedicate an hour of time a day, I'm really tracking and I know that I want to go to the gym every single morning and I have an hour, or I want to spend an hour working on my book every single day, then, over the course of a year, an hour a day is 365 hours. Over the course of 10 years, that's 3,650 hours. So when you look at the long-term accumulation of this time, you realize that, man, it doesn't take much to accumulate a huge mass, a huge shift in accomplishing your dream and enhancing your work skill set and broadening your capacity and giving more time to your family or to your side hobbies that you really want. Like the average American on social media today is 2.5 hours a day. Well, 2 hours over the course of a year is 730 hours. And the average American spends 3 hours watching TV, not with a creative lens of looking at something for research or watching documentaries or stuff, but just consuming, media for the purpose of mindless scroll, of comparison and judgment, comparison and judgment, comparison and judgment. You know, there is connection there, but at the subconscious level, we're making thousands of judgments and comparisons on social media, scrolling all the time. And so the idea is, well, you actually have the time. You know, if I looked at your calendar, if we opened up your phone and looked at your time tracker within your app, well, it would tell us how much time you're spending on different apps. It would tell us how much you're consuming social media, whether that's TikTok or Instagram, or whether how much time you're consuming podcasts, you're listening to podcasts as a learner. You know, and so the idea is, once you actually know the power of just a little bit of time a day, like it doesn't take much, like 15 minutes a day over the course of a year is 90 hours. Well, that's an entire month and more of a part-time job, right? That's 2 entire weeks of a full-time job you've spent pushing forward your dream. So the whole concept is, you know, you have the time, but until you start tracking and looking at how you spend your time with some intention and take some time, make some time to reflect, well, then how can you possibly achieve as much as you want, or make the time, or figure out where you're going to take this time to actually own your day? And so my challenge for you is, you know, be more intentional. Like, think about how you're spending your time. Are you the person that's always like, well, I do this when, you know, that's nice, you have time to do that, but for me, take some responsibility for your dreams and for your ambitions and for your life, because if you don't, no one else is. Like, no one's going to come out and hand you your dream. No one's going to give you a passion. No one's going to give you fulfillment. If someone's going to give you wealth, well, I hope you have some financial acumen, you know, to keep that. You know, as great as that would be, no one's going to do that for you. You know, the majority of people are not going to have any of those things handed to them or supported through them. So if you want to actually accomplish these things, you got to take accountability for that. And when you take accountability for that, you can start going on the offensive. You can start taking actions and making decisions in alignment with what you want to achieve, or even figuring out what you want to achieve. And so, you know, the most important thing is, stop giving away your dream. You know, stop giving away future revenue, clients, accolades. Like, stop allowing distractions and other people's fires and worries and comments and the flashy post on the gram take away from your dreams. Like, I'm not saying don't do those things. Like, if you enjoy that, that's great. The data may suggest something else, but dedicate some time to your dreams first and foremost. Dedicate some time to yourself. Dedicate some time to your family. Dedicate some time to making the world a better place, you know? So in conclusion, you know, what are the things by 9 a.m. that you do, you know, that prior, you know, seemed stupid, seemed stressful, seemed inconsequential? You know, what are the things, think about what are the things that would actually move the needle towards accomplishing your dream and realizing your dream, not only for yourself, but everyone else around you. When you change yourself, your vibration, your mental process, your ambitions, your mindset, whenever you have a different energy, that changes everyone around you. So my challenge for you is, don't even worry about doing a half hour. Just spend 15 minutes, make time for 15 minutes in the morning and track it. Actually set a stopwatch. You know, I'm going to wake up when my alarm goes off, and for the first 10 minutes, I'm going to journal. You know, if you journal just twice a week, the studies show that people drop their stress levels by 12% just journaling twice a week. If you spend 15 minutes a day, over the course of 10 years, that's 900 hours. Just 15 minutes a day, 900 hours. And you're like, well, that doesn't sound like a ton. Well, that's an entire part-time job for a year. How much happier, how much more fulfilled, how much more satisfied, how much more grounded, how much more loving, how much more caring and empathic and alive would you feel just giving yourself 15 minutes, giving your dream 15 minutes a day? And so, I hope you take something away from this and just realize whatever time of the day it works for you, but really think about setting aside the best of yourself, your best energy, your best mindset, the first part of your day, setting up the rest of your day for success. Because when you set up your day for success in the mornings, you start to set up your life for success every single day. So start taking back your life. Start taking back your dreams. Give it a genuine try for one morning and see how you feel. Try for a week and see what happens. Now imagine those results and those feelings over the course of a month, a year, 10 years. Just give it a shot, because what do you have to lose? That's my biggest thing is, man, you could always go back to the way it was. But the way it was, the way that you've been doing things the past month, the past 6 months, the past 2 years, 3 years, that's got you to where you are right now. And if you don't like where you are right now, you've got to change something, because no one's going to do it for you. So take back your life, take back your dreams, and make it happen, because I believe in you. I hope you got something out of this, and feel free to reach out. Always willing to chat and, talk things through and really give it a shot. Like just the stopwatch thing, I think I'm going to do a small little segment on that. But I hope you took something away, and don't miss out on the next episode. I'm going to talk about this great book, Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. Love it. Concept is incredible. Also, the artwork and in-graph commentary and prose is just brilliant. So shout out to Austin Kleon. We're going to do a little dive on that and applying that principle towards achieving your dream. And so, I hope you got something out of this. Thank you all for dedicating some time in this video. And as always, thank you all for pursuing your dreams so that we can work together to make the world a better place.